Welcome to the Golden Horn Wars After Party live.
Woo!
You have an invitation, and you have accepted it, apparently. Welcome all. Nice to have you. Lucio
Yes,
Finchi,
welcome.
26 is here. Usual cast characters. Mrs. Hedberger is off set with Rudy the cat.
Rudy the ass.
So we're here ready to party
Nice
for this.
cat.
It's been a crazy day. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard just showed up,
Yeah.
which I wasn't expecting. The
They
new
stopped
happy
them before we
couple.
sent them on the way.
Yeah, we're like,
yeah.
go on. We're good.
Get a room, you
got your
two.
own.
All right, start this off with a beverage. Elysian, Dark of the Moon, Pumpkin Stout. Yes, it's not
Ooh.
October, but
Ooh.
I've been holding on to this for months for this occasion. So let's do this. We've never had this
It
yet.
looks good.
That
Smells
cool
good.
bottle. It looks good,
Ooh.
smells good. Put it in your mouth. Cheers. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Chars.
It's good.
That's good.
I got it. It's good. Oh boy, I'm
It's
stuck
good.
in the chair.
Stuck.
All right. Let's get right to the business. The star of the evening. Nominated,
the big
nominated for
winner.
4 awards. They won 3 of the 4 nominations. That is
Yeah,
the Star of the Night, Antiviral, Best Director, Best Actor, and Best Picture. Just talk about it for a few minutes. Our thoughts on it. Since obviously you guys know how I feel. Some of your guys' thoughts on it when you first watched it. You know, initial reaction.
I thought the plot was awesome. I know, like, Maria thought it was kind of far-fetched, like how, like she thought it's like that would never happen.
I've heard people say that
Yeah,
actually, and
but
I actually
like-
think the opposite.
Yeah, I think the opposite too. I'm like, I mean, the way everybody glorifies and celebrities and things like that, like I could totally see that happening.
Obviously, an
That's obviously to an
exaggeration, but I
extreme.
think a realistic
It's a
Yes,
exaggeration.
it's to an extreme, but it's
I think that's what made it work. I think
Yeah.
it was very realistic.
yeah, I thought it was too.
I'm sure there are people out there to this
you-
day that would do that.
From Brandon Cronenberg, you would have to expect some sort of abstract view of it as well. I mean, it's not like a normal director doing it anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, it's realistic. The
Extremely relevant.
exactly,
Yeah.
it's a relevant film for today. I mean, it's
Definitely.
a mirror of our society,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
definitely is.
As far as like social commentary horror, I mean, it
Right.
was just spot on.
Yeah.
I don't think it's not something that's okay. Maybe 4 years ago, you'd be like, okay, but I mean, right now where we are today, I think it was
Right.
perfect, like
Yeah, I
timing
agree.
wise. Yeah, so I've heard that from people like, you know, yeah, there was a little. Well, first of all, I think when you're making a commentary like that, you're gonna push it a little bit, but I don't think it's that far fetched at all.
Yeah.
10 years from now, let me put it this way. If this ever happened, there would be buyers.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely.
You know, if there was,
There's
you know,
probably-
Mrs. Hemberger would do it.
Raises a question.
Oh, okay, I thought she was saying she
No.
would.
volunteering. Me,
I would like to
I would
ask.
buy it.
I might. Who would
Yeah.
you guys pick
Is a
Oh,
celebrity.
to
that's
have
a
their
virus?
virus?
That's a
Yes.
ridiculous question to open up. for anyone.
Exactly.
I don't.
Exactly.
I don't know if any of us would. I think the 3 of us would want to have sex with a celebrity, but I don't
Right.
think I'd
Yeah,
want to
I
have
don't
one
want
of
to
their.
inject a virus.
You wouldn't
Well,
want to get there sick.
It doesn't
Well,
make
if
me
having
feel close to it,
if having sex with them led to an illness, fine. But I don't think I want to skip the sex first. and
Right.
Go
What if
right
it
to
was
the
the other
illness.
way
get
around?
something
Yeah,
out of it.
yeah. I don't want to go right to the illness.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, obviously Cronenberg, you know, having a father. I mean, Lamberto went through this with his father, and I think Lamberto did an admirable job. But the thing about this, I mean, this is his first feature-length film.
Exactly.
And I mean,
yeah.
what a, you know, and obviously the influences are there, no question, body horror you could call it. But I mean, what a fantastic debut. And, you know, what he has to go through for the rest of his career, always having his father over his shoulder.
Right. You're always in the shadow of your father, if that is your father. Yeah.
And a great debut,
I,
though.
yeah, I
you know
just
what
think,
I
I
mean?
think he did a great job on his own.
Caleb Landry Jones, who won Best Actor, I mean, I think a few minutes into the film, you're kind of just, I think I've heard some people say, like, not the likable, to me he was likable, I don't know, I mean.
I thought so too. I like him in everything. So.
Yeah, I mean, he is a good actor.
He has a certain thing about him.
He commands the screen,
Yeah,
I'd say,
Right.
I mean.
He doesn't change up performance as much. He always has that kind of laconic,
Mhm.
very. I think his voice is very sensual. To be
I-
honest.
I
Um,
He,
agree. I think he's
very attractive.
He is attractive.
Let's not go off.
Okay, we're not gonna
touch
go
on
there
the
yet.
subject
We're not
later.
gonna go there yet.
We'll touch on the subject later.
I didn't know. I thought we were gonna do it now.
No, we'll do it later.
We're on anti.
I know. No, but but anyway, leave your thoughts.
Yeah.
I will say this before we move on. I
It
think
was also shot beautifully. I think.
Oh,
That,
yeah.
like I had a
it
very
was up
like
for cinematography.
yeah,
doing
like
that.
I think had a real like
shot
clean
really
like
well.
sterile
right.
feel to it, but it looked beautiful.
I've said it before. It reminded me like Kubrick-esque. I think as
Yeah.
far as like visually how it was. But before we move on, it's a film that I think years from now when we look back, excuse me, at 2013, I think it's a film that I still don't hear enough people talk about. Like.
You really don't,
It-
yeah.
I mean, we have all these films this year that we talked about earlier. Yeah, if it is, it's kind of negative. But you hear the buzz of Maniac and I don't know, We Are What We Are and some other films. But I mean, Annabelle to me, this was actually an easy decision for me to pick this one as best. I think it was a runaway. I think it's a brilliant. I often use the word masterpiece, but I really think it's a modern masterpiece. Hopefully,
I would use brilliant.
Yeah,
I think it
hopefully-
is brilliant.
hopefully it'll get appreciated maybe years down the road. But
Yeah.
I think this year brought us, I think, a brilliant modern film. So. A couple standout films from each of us for this year. Maybe not necessarily a film that won an award, but give you guys a chance to maybe mention a film that stood out to you. So if you want to say what yours is,
I'd probably pick Wither. I really enjoyed this one.
Swedish horror.
Swedish. I mean, obviously, everyone in Sweden. Obviously, being an Evil Dead fan, which we'll also get into later, this is definitely an Evil Dead homage film.
They did Blood Runs Cold from a couple years ago, which was a really cool slasher.
I thought it looked great. I mean, the effects were like really awesome in this one.
Practical, of course.
Yeah, all practical effects. Like everything looked really great. Like I guess your standard cabin in the woods, demon in the basement type of stuff.
Had a good vibe too.
Yeah, it had a great vibe. The acting was cool. I actually really cared for like the characters at the end and everything. Like the characters were really good. Like the old guy.
Show them the I've talked about this label before on the show, our exploitation. They give you a booklet.
Yeah, the DVD was really cool too.
This one doesn't give you a reversal one, which is odd, but it does give you like
it has still a cool graphic underneath.
So if you want to pick that up,
that has a whole story, like interview with directors, like
yeah, it's two guys, I think, right?
Yeah, it's
two
like
guys.
two dudes. Yeah,
they're definitely, I think, down for a good future. The two of them, they're off to a good start with these.
Yeah,
two
I mean, like I said, being any fan of Evil Dead should definitely check this one out.
For
It
sure.
stood out to me.
No doubt. Great flick. How about you, 26?
So I went with Byzantium.
Saw that on Halloween, our Halloween
our
marathon.
Halloween headline, one of our Halloween headliners. Basically, the reason being, it's this actually, as far as vampire movies go, and as far as newer vampires go, this one captures it, I think, better than a lot of the other ones do, and that it's an epic.
Yeah.
It feels like an
It does.
epic. You go
Grand
through different
feel.
times. Yeah, it has a grand feeling. The way they become vampires in it is epic.
Awesome. Yeah,
That's
awesome.
budget
Yeah.
too.
Right.
Too. I mean, we talk about Neil Jordan.
Neil Jordan. Yeah.
Somewhat
I love Neil Jordan.
somewhat of an advantage compared to maybe a Kiss of the Dam, which,
Right,
Which I think Kiss of the Dam was trying to go for that, but they of course don't have the
Right, they have
budget.
the restrictions.
But yeah, using his budget, I mean he did it properly.
Right.
What he had definitely has that. I mean Hollywood feel, but done well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It brought back the big vampire. I mean,
Exactly.
We're talking about who did it. I mean, it's the guy who did.
Interview.
Interview,
Yeah.
so-
I mean, and I haven't really felt that way watching a vampire movie since Interview. Really.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the budget does obviously hinder a lot of the newer vampire movies, and I'm not saying that they're bad. A lot of them are really good.
This point too is there has been big budget vampire movies since Interview that have sucked.
Right.
So I mean, he
really sucked.
right. So he is probably the first one who had that Hollywood budget to bring it back properly. And it was like I said, he was up for Best Director. I think it was cool seeing him. I think he made a good return.
Yeah, I really loved it too. It was probably one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
some of the cast were up for awards.
Caleb was in there.
Caleb was in
also.
there from Antiviral.
Good role on that one too.
Cinematography was up for that. So I had multiple nominations. Yeah, just a really cool.
Yeah, overall, I just thought it was great.
Good vibe. Minimal CGI.
There wasn't much.
It looked great. They had a really good cast.
Yep. Some hotties.
Yeah, hot.
The other actress who
Right.
ended up in the host,
Nominated for,
right? The other actress, she was in the host,
Right.
so she was really good too. Yeah, it was an awesome film.
Personally, my baby of the year
was Gemma
Gemma
Adams. Let's make that
Adams.
straight. Not the girl from the host. Not the younger one.
Yeah, not the younger one.
That could put a whole new one. They get us in trouble. We don't need that. Yeah, awesome flick. Mine would be this one best indie film, Toad Road. Again, Artsploitation release here.
Yeah.
So, I believe this is streaming on Netflix. We've seen this. This does like the drug use mixed with horror, which we've seen before. I mean, Lovely Molly last year did that. Eduardo Sanchez did it really well. But so I mean, that aspect has been done before. But I think it was creative, kind of like very low budget, almost documentary style. And the cool thing is the director who did this. What is his name? Jason Baker. Jason Baker. He actually went out and sought some actors for the film and ended up getting basically responded to an ad where some kids who went to school in Baltimore, college kids, and they're actually real drug users. And the first, half of this movie is party footage that he went and shot with them, with real usage. All of it was real, and it definitely has that. Every actor in this film was playing themselves and worked really well for the authenticity. But really, I'm sure you all out there have heard this already, but the lead actress in this film right here, she, a couple of weeks after this premiered at festival, she actually OD'd in real life, which is basically what her character was going through in the film, which I think just adds to the creepiness of the film. And true, I don't know if you need to kind of have this touch with drugs to appreciate more, but I mean, personally, I've gone through having a friend in real life OD on drugs in my past. So I don't know, I think just seeing the explicit drug use and kind of the creepiness, this film is about kind of like a couple of the characters want to kind of get out of that, and this one girl kind of wants to stay within that life. It's just pretty powerful in that aspect, and having gone through that with somebody in the past myself, I think just added to the power of it. But really creative, unique film in that way, really good score, really creepy, really powerful, and poignant film, and yeah, I mean, I think just the diversity right here. We have a fun, kind of like 80s-esque gore, Evil Dead-ish movie. We got your kind of like big vampire film, and we got this kind of like little drug horror, realistic film right here. So it just shows you kind of the spectrum of what this year has been, you know.
Yeah, definitely cool. There's definitely a lot of, like you said,
diversity of the genre.
Yeah, diversity, yeah.
We're going to do some performances, standout performances of the year. Just pick one that maybe stood out to you, an individual performance.
So like, I went with your next, Sharni Vincent.
The actress.
I would go with her just because she gives you, she's supposed to be the survivalist. I think she really pulls it off for a smaller girl. Like, she makes you believe in her that she could actually just fuck up all these
Right,
guys.
you're right. It was never like, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
And that's important. That's a harder proposition than it sounds, to pull that off.
Very likable.
Yeah, she's
Right.
Yeah.
Smart too. Like, she was awesome.
Australian accent.
Yeah, the accent always helps. I mean, I loved her. She was up for Best Actress. I mentioned too, quickly, she was up for Best Actress in the awards, but she was not up for our Hottest Babe. But you said she would actually be your pick.
I would have picked her. Yeah.
So not only she was a complete package.
Yeah, I don't think you can ask for much more than just a complete ass kicking
accent,
package.
badassery, good actress. Yeah, she was awesome. I think when we were watching it, we were showing it to Miss Hedbanger the other night. Through the whole movie, I was kind of like, I wish she was bloodier. She would actually kill someone, and she would come out with less blood on her. So some continuity issues there. But how about you?
Blood always helps.
Yeah, I was just wishing she was a little bloodier.
Any woman covered in blood.
How about you?
For me,
how about you, Finchie?
I gotta go with Mark Hamill from The Sushi Girl.
Best actor nominee.
yeah, he was a nominee, but for me,
winning quality.
He fucking stood out to me. Like, obviously, he's Mark Hamill.
Great flick.
But like,
Yeah,
the movie was really good too. I really enjoyed that as well.
Well, tell him what he
awesome
plays.
cast.
For once, for those who haven't seen it, what does he play?
He's like this, like,
Flamboyant.
he's very flamboyant.
As in gay.
As
He's
in
trying to
gay.
beat him.
He's like this gay
He's
dude.
a gangster, basically.
Yeah, gay gangster,
criminal,
pretty
gay
much.
criminal with glasses and.
Yeah, he's a little portly now.
Right.
So
Designer maybe? He
Sure.
notices design flaws
Yeah,
and like
he is
yeah,
gay quality.
yeah,
He's
bar,
typical
yeah.
gay.
yeah, he's flamboyant.
I think he brought a lot of his. I said this when we were watching. I think he brought a lot of his Joker performance into it, which was
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
I think it really fit.
And the,
Yeah.
the cartoon.
Yeah, the
And his
cartoon
character was
version.
just so.
Yeah, he was
like,
fantastic.
his
If you haven't
character
seen
was
Sushi
awesome.
Girl, came out earlier in the year.
Awesome cast.
Yeah, great
Like, the
cast.
is great.
Great.
And
great twist.
yeah, the twist at the end was really
Great film.
cool.
Mark Hamill definitely carried it.
Hamill was hilarious.
Memorable
Like,
role.
The way he walked,
Yeah.
like it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, great choice.
everything.
Just
Awesome.
awesome.
Mark Hamill is awesome. Great putting him up for a Horny nomination. Mine would be, here we go. Anurin Barnard. Actor here, he was also in The Facility. Lead actor of Citadel, which won previous film, was up for other awards. Very early release. Some may argue this was from 2012, but in my book, it's a 2013. He kind of played. He was agoraphobic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
fear
yeah,
of
I think
going
that's
out.
right, yeah.
For the record, this
Feel
came out in
that.
2013. You got like a burned copy
Yeah,
from your
yeah.
brother like last
It's just so
December.
random, like
Yeah.
anyway,
Anyway,
like a bodega or something.
basically he witnesses his girl, fiance,
His fiance. Yeah.
Baby mama.
yeah,
Was
who's
it? Yeah.
pregnant at the time, right?
Right. Yeah.
Witnesses her getting murdered right in front of him, and he can't get out of an elevator to save her. And basically after that, she dies, and he has to take care of the baby who lived, and he's agoraphobic, and he has like no money, lives in this horrible part. To me, like his character was really likable, and you felt really bad
Yeah,
for him,
you do, yeah.
empathetic towards him, and I thought he just did a great job. I like
he
characters
did.
that talk about likable. You know what I mean? Like I just felt so bad for him. I thought he did a great job. I think he's a really good actor. He's kind of becoming this like indie genre actor, and I just thought his performance. I don't know. I've watched it a few times, and it really stood out. I just like really felt for him for the whole movie. Really like pulling for him, and that obviously can go a long way. Much like her and
Right.
Your Next, when you like the character, just goes that much further. So lots of performances, but these are just a few that stood out to us. Alright, I'm going to preface this by saying this is not about our comments on remakes. Everyone knows who watches the show or knows me well that I don't think you can find someone who hates remakes more than me, and these guys are probably next in line
right
with
behind
me.
you.
They're pointless. I think that's the best word I could say to them. They're pointless. But
They choose the worst
Yeah.
/ best movies.
I don't want to
remake.
get in. I don't want to make. You guys already know
Yeah,
we hate
we're
remakes.
already-
Okay. In saying that, this was as every year. There's going to be some every year. Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. I did not see it.
I don't. You
No.
can't even call that a remake.
I couldn't even watch it.
Anyway.
It's supposed to be a sequel of the original.
I'll eventually
Doesn't make
see
any
it just
sense.
because I don't knock a film until I actually see it, but I have no desire to see it. That's the reason I've yet to see it.
It's
Um,
terrible.
We Are What We Are. I mean, that was up for Best Picture, the original film, 2 years ago here in the Golden Horn Awards. Directed by.
A lot of people had the
A lot of people had. I consider that. I don't think. Again, it doesn't fit my criteria for a 2013 film. I think it.
Because nobody can
I
see
think
it.
it's
Well,
streamed.
nobody
It did
can see
stream. I
until
think. I think it was like.
2014.
I think it was available on video on demand. It may have streamed at some point.
Last year?
Yeah, this year,
Okay.
2013. Yeah, it just got released on DVD like a week ago. I think it comes out in the UK next month. So I didn't even bother seeing that. Jim Mickle directed it. He did Stakeland. I think we like him. I like the director, but anyway, I haven't yet to see that. But there were other two prolific films, provocative films. This one in particular made a lot of lists, a lot of #1 lists for a lot of people. That's Maniac. I think we're all fans of the original.
I love the original.
Yeah, great film. As you can see, I have it, so obviously I liked it enough to purchase it. Just quick thoughts on it. I mean, first thing I can say about it is to see it on so many lists as #1 movie of the year to me just obviously if you go by my awards,
ridiculous.
it was up for best score on my awards, and that's it.
And that's it.
I think it's good.
It's deserving of
I enjoyed it. Obviously, I have it in my collection. I'm happy with that. I've watched it a couple times. Yeah, the score to me stood
Score is
out.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Elijah?
I thought he was good.
That was okay.
Yeah,
That was
I mean,
alright.
He's not. it's hard to buy him as a serial killer. You feel more bad for him than
I think he was way too likable.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly. That's why.
Elijah Wood.
I felt almost kind of like, come on, man, like kick it with this chick. Don't get all murdery on
Don't
her.
fuck this up, man.
You're doing okay. You're doing
Yeah,
good.
don't
You're doing.
fuck- don't get all-
Don't scare.
Exactly.
It's fine.
So I don't know. I think that may have helped me enjoy it more. So I'm actually like rooting for him. I think I discussed this with you on the phone like a couple days ago. We were talking about it. I thought there were some really good individual scenes with this film, like the one scene where he goes and murders the older woman, and Ave Maria is playing on the radio, and she's like in the bathtub, and she goes to reach for the wine glass, and he like pushes it towards her.
Yeah.
Like there was some good. The mannequins.
Also,
yeah.
one thing that I would say about it that they did really intelligently with this movie was that they filmed it mostly in first person,
POV,
so you don't see
Yeah.
Elijah Wood much. You just hear him.
Yep.
And I thought that was
I
brilliant.
didn't mind it.
Actually.
And you'd see him like in a mirror.
Yeah, mirrors
or something.
and shit like
Yeah,
that.
no,
I thought
I mean,
that was cool.
I think we all agree. I think it's.
I think it was just to keep him out of the camera. I
You
mean,
think so?
maybe not so much intentionally, but it worked that way. You don't see Elijah Wood much in the movie, so you can buy him more as a killer.
And I think they also probably did it to kind of like take away from the original tooth, saying, okay, this is us doing our own thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And but there was some. I mean, there was a really bad CGI right off the get go, which was a bad first impression. But there was some good practical later on, which was cool. Yeah, I think we all agree. A good film, but boggles my mind to see it as like the #1 film of the year on a lot of lists. So,
like that.
but obviously, me owning a remake, obviously it was good enough. And here's probably our controversial
most
discussion of the
controversial.
evening. We'll try to discuss this as quickly as possible. Evil Dead, yes, you guys can see I actually own this, the Steelbook.
Yeah. It's a sweet Steelbook.
Yeah, nice Steelbook. Again, Shelly, can you move the mouse? Obviously controversial. I didn't say rape the mouse. I just said move the mouse.
What did you do? What have you
Again,
done?
I don't know if I've seen this movie on a lot of like top 10s, but I know it was definitely.
It's a loved movie.
It was I'd say it's a quintessential love-hate. I mean, people seemed either they loved it or they hated it.
Right.
And I was actually in the middle. I thought it was good. Maybe even I actually really enjoyed it. And get your thoughts quickly. You're coming from more so than 26 and I. Evil Dead is one of your favorite horror movies.
Being a huge Evil Dead fan, being one of my favorites, and such. I know. I was completely anti. Like from the second I heard they were even doing it, I was anti. Like it was bullshit. Like, and I didn't want nothing to do with it. And my wife she talked me into. She was like, "We at least gotta go watch it." And I'm like, well, she paid for me and everything. I'm not even paying for it or nothing.
Good call.
And so we actually went and saw it, and I actually really liked it. And I got the DVD and everything. I watched it over again, and it's like the more I watch it, the more I actually think it's really good.
Let's just say what we liked about it. First off, me personally, it's not one of my favorites of the year. Obviously, it was just up for basically hottest chick and score. But
score's amazing.
Yeah, it was just fun. It won a Horny for best score. I mean, but besides the score, I think that lead chick, Jane Levy.
Yeah.
I loved her performance.
Yeah,
she was
great
also
job.
hot. I think she really carried the film. The lead guy from Dead Girl, I forget his name. I like him.
He's
Shiloh
Fernandez.
There you go.
So the cast's pretty good. I think some CGI, but there was some really good practical.
Yeah, I thought
and we
the
talked
effects
about.
looked great.
I thought like the CGI that wasn't there. Seeing what they did with the practical just makes me like, why? Why did you have to do any CGI?
Why not just go the whole way?
Yeah, I think it was just fun. I think she really carried the film. The score obviously helped it. The final act we talked about, that was your favorite.
Yeah.
And the blood rain, that was awesome.
Yeah,
that's amazing. The choirs come in and she's just covered in blood and she's got a chainsaw and the whatever. The demon comes out of the ground.
Yeah.
Her hand gets stuck on her car and she rips her hand out. That was all practical.
It's a great scene.
Great scene. So that I think that final act vaults it up. But yeah, one of the best of the year. No, but I think we all enjoyed it. I'm happy to own it.
Yeah.
I'm not happy in saying that.
yeah. Like I said, obviously.
But it goes to show, as much as I hate remakes, and all do, I will give the devil his due when it's due.
At least we don't completely ignore them. We actually do watch them and give them a shot.
We'll give it. When the credit is due, we give it. And Yeah,
I say it's definitely
especially coming from someone who
yeah.
holds the original, and I love it too. But like, it's
Yeah.
like one of your favorites.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly can say like, it's a really solid movie. Like, I really enjoyed it. I mean, the vibe is there, the music is there, everything about it was awesome.
The Headbanger
Fucking
owns 2 remakes.
Yeah, in your hand right there.
There goes the neighborhood.
What?
There goes the neighborhood. Back here live at the after party for the Golden Horn Awards. Charles, guys.
Charles.
Having a good time, right? Final segment here. Kind of a wrap up, basically, of the year. Quick, before we do that, are we commenting at all on the, once again, second year in a row, the category that got started in year one is the Hottest Guy Award. And
Because
again,
somebody refuses to pick it.
Mrs. Hedberger used to be in charge of that award back in the first
I
Golden
can't
Horn Awards,
decide.
and she just can't. There's just not enough hunks out there, I guess.
For her.
We did our own last
I'm a
after
bitch.
party.
Yeah.
Any guys you want to reference? Yours would have been
I
Caleb
already
Landry.
made it clear that Caleb would have been my
Yeah.
pick.
He would gone with the CLJ.
I would agree
The
with
ginger.
him.
You would have get the ginger.
Yeah. He's the hottest ginger I've ever seen.
Mutes, gingers, and remakes.
Yeah.
I don't know who I love AJ Bowen. Joe Swanberg. He's fucking just adorably delightful to me. But yeah, I don't know. No Vincent Cassell this
AJ
year.
is always a solid pick. So you can never go wrong with AJ Bowen, regardless of what somebody else says about it.
Mark Hamill.
I would let him.
Anyway.
It's fucking Luke Skywalker. I mean, come on.
You can make all the lightsaber references you want.
2000. So this is the third Golden Horn Awards. 2011, I think the sum of that year we had, like we talked about earlier, it was like 21 categories. It was like, to me, one of the best. It was a monumental year, historical year. It was one of the greatest modern horror years. Just so many great films. So I would call it historical year. 2012, I think we called it last year the Year of the Woman.
Yeah.
It was just great individual performances by the ladies. This year, I think we were talking earlier, I think it wasn't, obviously by the amount of nominees, there was a lot of films. I wouldn't say a lot of great films. I think there was a lot of really good films. But I think what stood out to me this year, years from now, when I look back on 2013, to me would be the independent scene was really strong this year. We had to separate the category into low budget and indie horror. So I think that's what I will remember from this year, besides Antiviral being such a dominant film. Obviously, we all support that, the indie scene. I think there's a good community out there. The closer I get to it with, going to conventions and meeting people online and all that stuff, and having Little Headbanger get into films, I think we'd like meet people that way. And this is the support that people give each other. A film that I forgot to mention during the actual award show was I Am No One by Jab Pictures, which I've talked about in the past, directed by Jason Hoover. So Charge to You, man, is a really good film. I just forgot to mention it during the awards. So go to Jab Pictures, pick that up. Really cool flick. Just like a lot. I mean, what were some of the? You guys haven't seen all the indie films that I did. But
Yeah, I haven't
is
seen
there any like trying to think of? I mean, you can call Wither an indie film. Obviously, the film you love.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. Oh, I think it was pretty. I think it was fairly solid all around. Like, there were some. I mean, there were some decent Hollywood movies. I think that were.
It showed the diversity, as we
That's,
said.
yeah, that's the sign of a good year, is when you can pull from all those different...
Right, indie,
Yeah.
Hollywood. I mean, Stoker, film like that. I mean, we obviously had a segment on remakes.
Yeah,
I mean,
a segment on remakes.
I mean,
and
just
Rob
shows
Zombie won a horny.
exactly.
Like-
Rob Zombie won a fucking.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of it,
Yeah.
but
I
for
think
that
cinematography,
It's fine.
and they were up for a score as well.
Yeah.
John Five is that who did the soundtrack? I
I'm
believe.
kind of disappointed that Meg Foster didn't win for
Let's
Best
talk about her
Actress.
really quickly.
Let's talk about Meg Foster.
Yeah.
I thought she was amazing.
That's
in
why
that.
she got a
was-
nomination.
she
I
was
know,
great,
but
yeah.
I think she deserved the win, to be honest. I thought
She
she
was
was
awesome.
that good.
I guess the only thing that bothered me about it, I wish she was in the movie more. you
Right,
know?
she wasn't in it much, that's true. But she sold you
Oh,
on
they're talking
her
about going
character.
for it. Like,
Yeah,
just
definitely,
taking
yeah.
it all off. Yeah.
I was just really expecting that.
No, yeah, I wasn't expecting it either.
It's great.
But yeah, I mean, the indie stuff. Maybe Mrs. Hedberger. I mean, she's seen some of these films. Validus, Skinless Pete, right?
Yes, awesome.
Dustin Wade Mills, awesome job.
Yeah.
We watched that together. That was great. You guys got to check that out. Seventh Day was another one, right? So that for great gore effect. A lot of good serial killer movies this year in the indie scene. I think some of the other ones in the indie scene.
Thanatomorphos.
Thanatomorphos.
Oh,
You still
that
have to see it,
one
right?
was
Yeah,
gross.
you got to see this. Awesome
Gross.
flick, right, Shelley?
Yes. Disgusting
Great.
and awesome.
Great cover, but it just goes to show you how much you can do with little. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like you said earlier, when you hear someone say that there's no good horror movies around,
Exactly.
Yeah,
you're dead
just
wrong,
not
man.
looking.
You're not looking in the right spots.
I don't think there's
they're
any-
all over the place.
And every year is like that too. I
Yeah,
mean, if
thank
you say
Thank you.
say that there's no good horror and
You don't watch it.
yeah, exactly. You can't you don't know where you're looking.
So every year is
And that's
some
what-
years.
That's another reason the community is so important too. I mean, you guys. I mean, you recommend stuff, we watch it.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
that's how it works.
Vice versa, right?
Right.
Someone else posts something. Yeah, it's definitely. I think anyone who would say that, they may think they're a horror fan, but they're not looking at it, or they're being spoon fed by, I don't know, maybe
Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood.
yeah, who knows. But yeah, I mean, it's a good point. No matter,
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what year it is, some years are better tan others. But like you said, this isn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's every year. Next year, this year, 2014 coming up, it's going to be no different.
Who knows what?
I mean, there's already titles that we're excited about. You know, hopefully, Exists comes out. Hopefully, does it really exist? That movie. Eduardo Sanchez. We're really looking for that Sacrament Ty Weston movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of titles out there, but yeah, it's been yet again a great year. I want to thank you all. If you're still watching, thanks for chilling and
God
partying
bless
with
you.
us. 2013 it's officially over now that Horseball says it's over.
That's
We're
right.
we're at the end of January right now. For most of you, it's been over for a while, but you can officially move on to the new year now that February is almost here.
So tomorrow is New Year's Day.
Tomorrow's New Year's Day. This is New Year's Eve, right? Exactly. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching the show. I hope you enjoyed it. For Lucio Finchi, Mrs. Headbanger, 26, I'm the Headbanger. We'll see you next year on the 4th annual Golden Horn Awards. Will you win? Will you win? Will you win? Cheers, everybody. Good night. Good night now.